Good afternoon, everybody. This is my not so special Christmas special. Yes, very little preparation, although we do have some important things to talk about. I want to give you an update of my latest novel, um, the Prussian Prince, but not just an update about the novel, but just to talk a little bit about the marketing and some of the strategy I have in launching the new novel and the strategy, tactics, and things like that I have in store. Because everything I'm doing is really an experiment. I'm very much in a building phase where I'm trying to build as big of an audience as possible and trying to be strategic in launching and my book marketing. And that is what this channel is really about. So if first of all, please give me a like and a subscribe. Doesn't cost you anything to subscribe. All it does is it just lets you know when you log on to YouTube that I got a new video out. And leave me a comment. I don't get a whole lot of them, so I got plenty of time to answer any comments or any questions. And of course, you can also find me on other social media. Like I think Facebook, I have the biggest. I have the biggest. What do you call it, audience? Or I have the biggest. It's the biggest platform for me. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, which I still don't get. I mean, I update it and everything like that, but I don't understand why people spend a lot of time on Instagram other than looking at pictures, but I don't get it as a marketer. How I know it's supposed to be like one of the top three, but okay. I'm on LinkedIn. I do a little bit of TikToking, not a whole lot. You're not going to see me dance. Not that I don't dance or not that I don't like dancing. I'm just not going to be like, the latest dance. And there you go. That's me. Okay, sorry. All right, so one of the things I want to do with this channel here is I want to use it to explore my own path as an independent writer, as I make mistakes and have victories, and share that with you. You might be a writer yourself on your own path. You might be a reader who it just enjoys historical fiction. We're going to talk a lot about not just my path, but other people's paths too. I do book reviews here. But anyway, let's get down to it. So today is Christmas Eve. For those of you who celebrate it, I certainly do. I enjoy. I think Christmas is my second favorite holiday, which is still up there. It's in my top three. Halloween's really my favorite, but I like Christmas too. After that, I think after that they're all just kind of like okay, they work for me. Part of my strategy with this is to build consistency, to try to go live once a week. And right now it's turned into Sunday. It has been Sunday evenings at 7, but a couple things about that. I find that it's limiting as far as how many with having guests or viewers because there's not a lot of people available at that time. So I'm trying to do it a little earlier on Sundays. And just so you know, my own schedule. So Laura and I are not married, but we are in essence married, but we are not married. We don't live together. Or we have two separate houses, one on the east side, one on the west side of Nashville. And we basically, unless there are some kind of outside reason for it, our default is that I spend Friday night with her, she spends Saturday night with me, and she spends Wednesday night. And we make dinner. We both like to cook. I made pizza last night, and we usually watch like some Netflix or whatever. And then she usually stays Sunday morning until around noon, a little earlier maybe. I make her breakfast in bed. I make eggs and coffee and all that. And then after she leaves, I start getting busy with everything I needed for the next week. And I was waiting till I got everything done and then live streaming. Now I'm trying to do the live stream earlier. So we'll see how that works. So if you didn't know, I have a new book coming out. Let's see if I can pull something up here on it. I'll tell you what, let's go to my Facebook here. That's probably the easiest one here. So we're going to go present. We're going to share a screen. Let's go Facebook here. All right. And all right, here we go. Go to my page. By the way, so I didn't want to have like a separate page, like an author's page. So I am just me. It's my personal Facebook page. I still have room for plenty more friends. So please give me a friend. Friends, or if you don't want to make friends because maybe you don't want me like looking at your stuff, you can follow me. That's fine. I got followers too. I got let's see, I got 32,000 followers. Um, this is my. Let's see if there's a good picture of this that I don't have to look too deep for. Here we go. Let's do this. Hmm. Excuse me, I'm a little sniffly. That's not what I was looking for. There we go. There we go. There's Prussian Prince, man. It's book 4 of my trilogy. The not my trilogy, my series called the Long the. Excuse me, I'm stifling a sneeze. My series called The Long Century. What is the Long Century? Well, historians talk about the long 19th century, which they say starts with the French Revolution and goes all the way up into World War One. And my series had different names. It was first called the Second Michigan Cavalry Chronicles, and then I realized I was going to be writing a lot more that was outside of the Civil War and the Second Michigan Cavalry. It was called the Cavalry Chronicles for a minute, and then I switched it to the Long Century because everything is taking place within the long 19th century. In other words, I'm looking to move all the way up into World War One, and I might move backwards as well. I have some ideas for that, and I'm basically using the 19th century as my playground in which to write my novels. I'm not going to stay there forever. I don't have any plans of leaving anytime soon, but I do have. I like other eras as well. I like the kind of the Renaissance, like the starting with the 1400s, the 15s, and even the 1600s. I don't know if I'm going to ever do anything ancient like Romans or a lot of authors. The most popular genres are like Dark Ages with Vikings and Anglo-Saxons, Romans, and World War II, particularly the Nazis. So if you Nazis, Romans, and Vikings, if you put those in your books, you're going to have a big commercial success. I'm writing about the Long Century. The next book coming out is The Prussian Prince. You can see that right there. It's the one here in the center. Very excited about it. It's written. I am in the editing phase right now. Typically what I do is I do my editing first, and then once that's done, Laura takes it and then she does her editing. She points out, she usually prints it up and then takes a red pen and makes notes and circles mistakes and things like that, and then I make those corrections and then I send it to my mom and then we're done. So that's what we're doing right now. I was getting a little anxious, so I think I'm up to like chapter 50. There's 24 chapters. I have edited all the way up through chapter 15, I think. And I wanted to get Laura on it because I want to have everything done by the 29th. And we'll talk about that in a minute, the timetables. So I wanted to get everything done by the 29th. So I took the first half of the book that's been edited by me and then created a PDF and called it Laura Copy Part 1 so that she can get started. And I think she says she's going to get started maybe on Tuesday. We'll see. I'm also a little boy who wants what do you call it? Validation from my girlfriend. And she'll be the very first person to read the novel. Very excited about it. And if you've read my other novels, it picks up the story after Blood for Blood at Nashville. Basically the way my novels are set up right now is there's the Civil War trilogy, and then Mexico My Love is a prequel, and then The Prussian Prince is a sequel, which picks up the main character after the American War and puts him into the Austro-Prussian War. Originally, it was going to be the Franco-Prussian War, but I realized I had to account for the years between the Civil War and the Franco-Prussian War, which is like 1870, and the Austro-Prussian War actually really fit in perfectly. So this book is kind of like, originally the Prussian Prince was going to be a Franco-Prussian War, but then I realized, okay, I have to do something in between. So I was going to make it a book that was going to be once again another really big book. And I don't think it's I mean, other than just like being able to brag, I don't think it's really can. I don't think it's best to write big, like 100,000 plus word books. Like Blood for Blood was 119,000. Mexico My Love was 124,000. Those books needed to be, because Mexico My Love was a big story that I needed to tell, and I needed to do it into one book. Uh, Nashville, Blood for Blood at Nashville was the same thing. It was the capstone to the trilogy, and I had to basically set up the impetus for part one of it. The first third of the book is basically setting up the rest of the book, and I could have done that in more than one books, but I wanted it to be a cohesive trilogy, and I didn't want it to be 4 books. I wanted it to be 3 books. We do American Civil War, 3 books. So anyway, Prussian Prince picks up after that, and it's kind of like the book that I didn't plan on. So now I'm finished with that. I'm going to continue the story into the Franco-Prussian book, Franco-Prussian War. I have very definite ideas that were going to be part of really the first book, the Prussian Prince. But I realized when I was getting halfway through that I'm really writing 2 different books here with 2 different satisfying endings and all that in 2 different stories. So I just decided to break it in half. And I think I think 80,000 is the Goldilocks. I'm sitting at 76,000 words right now. There might be a little bit more, might be a little less by the time I'm done with the editing. And I'll give you a case in point. I'm running a 99-cent special on Blood for Blood at Nashville. We'll talk about that a little bit more. And I can't remember what my royalty is, but what percentage, but I'm making less on royalties on this than I do the other ones, because I get charged for a transfer fee. So when someone buys one of my ebooks from Amazon, I get a royalty from that, but I also have to pay for the transfer, the data transfer. I'm not quite sure how it works, but so the bigger your book, the more you have to pay that fee. I also know that people sometimes don't finish long books. And so I think business-wise, it's a good idea to write more 80,000 word books than fewer 120,000 word books. And the thing is that it's hard to justify charging more for that 120,000 word book. I've also heard that major publishers want 80,000 word books, and showing that you can do that you can find that Goldilocks between something that's too short and too long, shows that you're disciplined and you know how to put together and structure a good book and a satisfying read time. Give you an example of how this has worked. If you notice, like theater films have really blown up. It used to be an average feature film was about an hour and a half. Now they're like over 2, sometimes 3, 4 hours. And sometimes people are like, God, it's just, it's too much to take in, especially if you're at the theater, you have to sit through the whole thing. So yeah, I'm working on getting back to like an 80,000 word book. So this book, The Prussian Prince, is longer than my first 2 books. It's longer than Rampage on the River and Perils of Perryville, but it's not as long as Blood for Blood and Mexico. I think it's a Goldilocks. So anyway, enough of sandbagging on that. Let's talk about our timetables here. My strategy for this book right now is to launch the pre-order on Tuesday, which is the day after Christmas. And the reason being is not a lot of people are buying stuff for themselves before Christmas, and they're too busy to be reading anyway. But after Christmas, things start settling down and people start turning back to themselves. And a lot of people get Amazon book, Amazon gift cards. And now they're looking at Amazon to see, well, what's available out there. So it's a good time to start advertising or promoting, books. People don't typically buy Christmas books as Christmas presents for others. I have had people who told me where they buy directly from me that they're buying the set as a gift for someone else, and that's great. But that's more of the exception than the rule. So, so anyway, I'm planning on doing the pre-order the day after Christmas, and then launching the book February 4th, which is my birthday. And other than just celebrate my birthday, the algorithm works for me on my birthday. So on my birthday, I get a lot of well wishers, and so I get a lot of traffic on my Facebook page anyway, because a lot of people, wish me happy birthday. I usually get over 300 happy birthdays. So I'm thinking, well, that's a great day to launch because I'm getting the attention. So I might as well have something to show on that day as well. So that's the plan. The other thing, this is really interesting. Let me see if I can share this with you. Let's do this. Let's start with, let's see, present. We're going to do share screen. We're going to go here first. Okay. So the other thing I'm doing, I'm very happy I did this. I decided to go ahead and run some ads over the weekend. I'm running in the United States between now and the end of Friday, 99-cent digital copies of Blood for Blood. I've been running, and then the following week it'll be 99 pence in the UK. And I did that with Mexico My Love the 2 prior weeks, and I did with Rampage too. And the reason why I'm doing this is I'm trying to get as many people as possible to try to find as many new readers as possible, so that when the new book comes out, they'll be primed to go ahead and buy and read it because I'm currently in their mind, And I think there is something to say for that too. Like, for example, you got a reader starting a series, and I have noticed I had somebody just today buy the whole series. What they did is they got the 99-cent Blood for Blood, and they said, well, screw it, I'm just going to buy the whole thing because Blood for Blood is the 3rd book out of 4. So they bought the whole series. So people do, myself included, if you start a series, want to complete the series, right? But if you give them a break in between, they may not come back. So there might be people who have read my whole series, but they read it. They read the last book a year ago, and they might not. They might have gone on to other things. Now they might love it, and they might like, oh, I'm so glad Cody Engdahl's got another book out. But they might be like, well, yeah, I was into that, but now I'd rather read about Viking Roman Nazis instead of 19th century. So, but here's one of the things that's very interesting, and I think it's something that if you're an author, you should consider yourself. One of the things you can do, okay, so I'm following myself. So see down here, it says follow the author, and that's me. Now that could be any author. Let's say, by the way, I don't ever click on anybody's ad because I know they have to pay money for it. So we're gonna look at one that isn't an ad. Those are all sponsored, so I don't want to. I don't want. Those are all sponsored. Okay, this is recommended, so I'm not going to cause anybody to. Okay, I love this guy, and I've read this book. This is a great series. The problem is he's commercially published. He's not independent, and so his, James Haley. Haley's a great author. If you like Patrick O'Brien or C.S. Forrester, this is the American version of that, which, I love the British stuff too, but it is kind of cool to get an American version for us Yankees here. But and I read this. This is a Darker Sea, and it's when I bought it, I think it was like $16.99 for the Kindle version. But see, guys that are commercially published, they have to charge that because there's a whole bunch of overhead for the big, glass building in Manhattan or whatever. But here's James Haley. I'm following him as well. Maybe that's not a good example, but yeah, you can follow an author and end up going to his or her page, and then author page, and then you can see what else they've have written, and who are similar people to them. Let's go back to me. James can do his own YouTubing. This is my YouTube channel. But yeah, we'll go back some more. Go back one more. So if you would please, I know I'm asking a lot of things. I've asked you to like this video. I've asked you to subscribe to my channel. Leave a also give me a follow. So I'm already following, but if I'm not already following, let's someone I'm not following. How about that? We'll do that without costing anybody's money. I don't want to. If you click on something sponsored, which by all means, if you're going to buy a book from me and you want to click on one of my sponsored ads, go right ahead. By all means, but all right, I'm doing a really bad job here. All right, let's pick someone that I'm not following. Okay, Charles G. West, and let's just make sure these are not sponsored. Okay, so I'm not costing him any money at all. This is just YouTube thinks that if you like Cody C. Engdahl, you would like Charles G. West, and so he here. This looks like a good Western. I almost wonder if that's a pen name, Charles G. West. It kind of sounds, but yeah, here we go. So here is Charles G. West, and I can follow him if I want to, and if I do, well, I will get updates from him. Let's look at his page here. They call him Crazy Wolf. Yeah, it looks like a nice guy. So here's something. If you are interested in Westerns, this guy looks like he's a good writer. But what I want to show you is, all right, so we did that. Let's remove this, and then I want to show you something else. So when you follow an author, what it looks like on our side of it is, once again, I'm going to present. It's got to be an easier way to do this. Share screen, and this time I'm going to show you the backside of my author page on Amazon. Okay, so this is I'm going to show you what the let's see here. How do I do this? Okay, hang on a second. Hold up. All right, hang on. Let's cancel that. I'll do this a little cleaner. Why is this? Okay. So I'm going to come here. Please excuse me. I'm still learning how to do this. Okay, we're going to share screen. Do window. Okay, great. All right, and let me just make sure that I am that I am. Let me come back here. All right, great. All right, so I have an author page, as do all authors on Amazon, so that people on Amazon readers can go to their favorite author page and see what other books they have and things like that, and they can follow them. And I currently have 142 followers on Amazon, which is great. This is one of those daily things that I check to see if I got any new followers. But the great thing is about this is that even though Amazon gives me no direct contact with my followers, I'm not. They don't give me a list. They don't tell me who they are. They don't give me emails. They just let me know that there's 142 people out there, and if you're one of them, thank you so much. But what's going to happen is that when I start my pre-order, Amazon's going to send an email to all 142 followers, unless they've opted out of email notifications, that I have a new book ready for pre-order, and hopefully that will help me out. And then after that, once I publish, they will also get notified that I have a new book. So this is a great marketing tool. If you're an author, you should do your best to try to get people to follow you on Amazon as well as everywhere else. How do you do that? Well, it's because there's no direct way. You're very limited in what you can do. In fact, they even you used to be able to do a lot more on your author page, but they kind of narrowed it down quite a bit. But one of the things, and I didn't make this up. Somebody said it. One of the people I follow is at the end of the book. When you put out books, at the end of the books, you can say, "Hey, please follow my Amazon author page. Please give me a review on Goodreads and Amazon, and give me, as many stars as possible. And by the way, if you're listening to this, all those things, please do all those things." So I'm hoping the day after Christmas, when I launch, I'm a little nervous about it because I'd like to be a little further along the way with my with the editing. I wanted it to be in Laura's hands already, but I still think I'll be able to make my deadline. So day after tomorrow, that will be launching. And here's another thing too. So I know that it's asking a lot for people to pre-order before the book's out, and they have to wait a month. So I'm going to sweeten the deal by the book's going to be only 99 cents when I do the pre-order, and then once it comes out, it's going to be $4.99. So jump on board early and get the pre-order for 99 cents. So that's I think 80% off, or yeah, I think it's something like that. And that's just kind of like, thank you. And the reason why I do that is because once you make it available for pre-order, you're now your ranking starts. And if you're not selling a bunch of pre-orders, then you're going to fall back and back and back in the rankings. So by the time your book comes out, you're already in the hole. And why is ranking important? Because the higher you are in ranking, the more likely Amazon's going to show it to other people. So, and ranking fluctuates hour by hour. I don't know if it's hour by hour, but certainly day by day. And I mostly don't pay attention to it because you can drive yourself crazy. And what's even worse is you can get into a cock measuring contest where, a rival, or even a, friendly rival author, you're looking at his rankings and then you're looking at yours and you're like, well, why are they ranking better than me? Or, haha, I'm ranking better than him. But it's because we have good days or bad days. Like right now, I think Blood for Blood at Nashville is ranking pretty well. And by the way, the lower the number, the better. It is ranking pretty well because it's on special, and I'm running ads on what do you call it, on Facebook, and they're paying off. I've been making sales. I tell you the truth, I kind of was getting out of advertising on Facebook in America because I wasn't making the money back like I did at the beginning of the year. But that's beginning to turn around, and I decided, well, it's the end of the year. I want to see how many books I can get. I'm trying to push all my numbers up, get the most out of my royalties for the year and my number of books sold and all that. So I decided to make this push. Also, I'm hoping that this gets people into my series, and so that they'll buy the Prussian Prince, because every book I write, it competes with the last books. And so far, every book has outperformed the last one. The only one that was kind of questionable was the second book, Perils of Perryville. And that's because it came out February 4th of 2020, right when COVID hit. And so people were not spending money. People were losing their jobs, and it was just the worst time ever. I think it did better than Rampage, but not in some aspects, but not incredibly better than I did. Then what was it? The Blood for Blood came out the next year, and that did great, and that started selling the whole series. And then Mexico My Love came out, and I'll tell you right now, my royalties for 2023 are over 3 times my royalties for 2022, and that's because when you write in a series and you were lucky enough, or you were thoughtful enough with the first book to make sure the first book is good so that people want to come back, then as you write more books, it just compounds. So hopefully, like it did the last one, when the Prussian Prince comes out, that not only will the Prussian Prince sell, but it'll start selling the back catalog as well, bringing in new readers. And that's how you build and you build and you build and build. And that's why I've noticed a lot of independent writers or writers in general, that it's usually about a 10-year journey to get from, writing on the side while you do other things until like quitting your job and becoming a full-time writer. That seems to be the pattern that I've seen with some of my friends that are authors. So we'll see what it does for me. I do know that I'm getting a little better all the time. So let's see. What else do we want to talk about here today? And we don't want to do that. Let's see here. All right, let's. I will say. So that's what I'm doing as a writer. As a reader, let me remove that. So I'll tell you this. I like Angus Donald. He's a British author. He's got a great version of Robin Hood. I would say probably one of my favorite renditions of Robin Hood, whether it's a movie, a book, whatever. I think it's one of the best versions I've ever seen. So I really like this, and I will probably do another video live stream when I do my review on this. To tell you the truth, I wasn't quite interested in reading this because it's another King Arthur story, and I love Bernard Cornwell's The Winter King, the Arthur saga trilogy. I think it's 3 books. I love Excalibur. And I've seen some other Arthur things that I didn't like as much, but those 2 are just great. So I didn't know if I wanted to do yet another version of Arthur. But what attracted me to this book is how he's doing this, because not only am I a writer, not only am I a reader and a fan, but I'm also a student of the art and how things are done. So let's see if I can explain this. I think this is ingenious. So Donald is a guy who's typically a commercially published guy. He's got I think he's with Canelo, and he's got a series with them. But it's interesting because a lot of guys who are commercially published are kind of moving back into independence. And I know that Donald's got like a series. I can't remember. It's a Viking series that is through a commercial publisher, Canelo. But he is publishing this independently, and he's got another trilogy he's working on. It's based off the true story of an Englishman that ends up fighting for the Mongolians and becomes like a consultant, or what do you call it, for Genghis Khan. And that sounds really interesting. I like Mongolians. Mongolians are fun. But what I'm interested about this is how Donald is putting this out. So this, once again, this is independently published. So it's published like my stuff. It's just him and Amazon KDP, and no middleman, no publisher in between. And what he's doing is he's publishing this as a serial, and right now it's only digital. You cannot get this in print. And basically, he's putting out as episodes. This is eventually going to be, I believe, a trilogy, or at least a series. And it's a series of novels. And each novel is broken into episodes. And I think each episode has an amount of chapters involved. But so the first episode came out, I don't know when it came out, but he's selling for 99 pence in the UK and $1.24 in the US. That's to compensate because pounds are worth more than dollars. And I'm so sorry for you in the UK that I charge 99 cents for my specials when I do 99 pence in the UK. And it's not quite fair. I'm sorry about that. I don't know how else to do it. But anyway, so he put out the episodes are, as he says, they're 20,000. They're about 20,000 words, or about 75 pages. Like this first one would be 73 pages. By the way, I don't like talking about page length or amount of pages because that can change greatly by the formatting of the book. Case in point, Mescal My Love would have been over 500 pages if I would have put it out in the same format as the trilogy. But I switched it to the 6x9 format and it dropped it down to like 360 something pages. Same amount of words. It's just so the amount of words you put on a page can vary greatly because of the dimensions of the page, the font size, all that kind of stuff. So I really like word count. Word count to me is more and a more accurate description of the length of a book. So these are about 20,000 words. So chapter or the first episode. Well, this is episode 2. Let's go to episode 1. That's the one I'm reading right now. So he's going to put out an episode. Like I think the first 2 episodes came out like a month of each other, and then he's going to have episode 3 come out in January, and then maybe episode 4. I think book 1 is going to be 5 episodes. So what he is doing is is a brand new series, a brand new story. He's self-publishing it, and what he's doing is he's releasing the book in book 1. He's releasing book 1 in 5 different episodes, and then when all 5 of them are out, he is then going to re-edit the whole thing into a full book and then put it out as a book. So what he's going to do is he's going to make his money as he's writing it by putting out the episodes, right? And that's going to get a certain crowd. And I'm kind of excited about it because I've heard him talk about this, that some people have actually complained that they don't want to have to wait. I like the waiting thing. In fact, I regret that I started late on this because episode 2 is already out. I would like to read episode 1 and then have to wait and kind of think about it and anticipate and be excited to read the next episode. But like I said, I wasn't that interested in reading another King Arthur story because I've seen the King Arthur story a million different ways. But I was more interested academically and business wise of how he's doing this because I think it's a very interesting marketing concept. And so I just finished reading The Prussian Terror by Alexander Dumas, which is Dumas' version of the Austro-Prussian War. So I decided, okay, you know what? I'm gonna jump in. I want to try this. Much to my delight, I've read the prologue in chapter 1. I'm in. First of all, it reminded me of why I'm a fan of Angus Donald, and I was a fan of Angus Donald before I started writing serious myself. When I decided, okay, I'm going to write novels, I was already a fan of Angus Donald, and I was reading his stuff. And I'm happy to say that we are. We are internet friends, or at least we follow each other and we share each other's stuff and we comment and like, and I really like him as a person too. He's funny and he's very smart, but reading this made me realize why I actually like him. And I'll read stuff of other authors more for, because I feel like I ought to. And sometimes I'm not enjoying it as I would if I was just picking something up for myself just for pure pleasure. But I'll make myself read it anyway. I'm enjoying this, and I'm really excited about this concept. So I'm probably I'm gonna try to get this done before the new year so that I'll have my 12 books in on Goodreads that I read, and I'll probably jump right into episode 2 and 3, and then I'll be caught up, and so then I can have a little bit of that joy of waiting for the next one. And the interesting thing is that I'm pretty cheap when it comes to ebooks because I don't have a lot of money to throw around. So I usually buy a lot of books when they're at $1. Like, okay, you're putting that out for $1, and in return for that, I'll give you 5 stars and I'll give you a review. And but if you think about this, so Donald's putting this out for basically $1.25 an episode, and by the time he puts out 5, I will have paid. Let's see, I can't do math. $8.25 for the book, which is a lot for me to spend on an ebook. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it's still cheaper, but yeah, but because that $1.24 is a smaller pain point when it comes to buying, it's easier to have the compulsion of, well, it's $1.25, and if I don't like it, I don't have to buy the next one for $1.25. So it keeps you on your toes. I kind of write this way anyway with my books, although I don't break it up and put it out in intervals, but I write the chapters as if I'm writing a serial. And this is, this seems like a novel new way of doing things. Well, first of all, Amazon has already been experimenting with this, except with Velo or Vela, which is the same thing. I would be curious to ask him why he's not doing this through Vela. So it's basically the same concept. It's a Vela. It's official that it's that way. Where this, he's just kind of doing it on his own. I'd really like to pick his brain and ask him some of his reasoning and all that. So the question on some of your minds, certainly it's on mine, is this something that I should do or something that I would be interested in? And first of all, yes, I'd be interested in trying something like this. Should I do it? No. And the reason why is because I'm in the middle of a series that I think is going to be probably 11 books when I'm done. So I'm about to put out book 5 of what right now I have planned is 11 books. That may change. I don't think this is something that I should put out there in the middle of a series because I think it would be too confusing. I think this would be an interesting thing to try if I ever start a new series. Now, I have a couple ideas of series that I might do once I'm done with the Long Century, but that is years from now. And I don't know, maybe there might be a way of doing this with the series I'm doing right now. I mean, this is the problem, is that we're in the middle of my series right now. So it's either asking the readers I already have to take in my books in a different way, or asking new readers to come in the middle of this series because this is a new way I'm doing things. And by the way, you got to go back. I mean, I write every book as if it's the first one you've ever read, even though they're all connected. So I don't think it's something I would do myself anytime soon. But I'm on board with Angus. First of all, I was going to read the whole thing, even if I didn't like it, just because I wanted to see how it was working and how he's doing. But it turns out it's Angus Donald, who I like as a writer anyway. So I'm really enjoying doing my homework, as it were. All right. So what else can we talk about before we move on to anything else here? No, I think that's it. I think I'm going to give you guys can I play you guys something? All right, let's do let's see, what's the best way to do this? Okay, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to sign off, but I'm going to play my video of, let's see if I can do this. Let's see here. Close that down, put that down. I'm going to play you me playing Silent Night, a little video I've done. I put this video together a few years ago, and I'm so happy with it that I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna there's no point in redoing it. I'm just going to put it out once a year. Maybe someday I'll update it here, but it's my holiday video that I want to put out on top of, like, you've seen me, I think every year I do some Christmas carols on my fiddle. And what's nice is I have enough of those now that that not only do I put out new ones, but I have memories where I can put out, one that hasn't, from 2 years ago or 3 years ago. So now I got a lot of Christmas carols of me playing the fiddle and pimping one of my books. Let's see. Let's go to. All right, we're already in channel. We're gonna go to videos, and where is it? Okay, here it is. And let's do this. Turn on that. Stop this. That's not what I want. Nope. Stop. It won't let you just back it up. Okay, there we go. Share this tab. Share this tab instead. Okay, good. All right, let's see. Let's see what that looks like on the other side here. All right. There's got to be a better way of doing this, but I'm gonna go ahead and sign off. I love you guys, and I'll come back on after this because I don't know how to do this, but this is my little video. I don't know how to do this cleanly, so I'm gonna check out for a minute. I'm gonna play this video, and then I'm gonna come back and we'll talk some more. Okay, I want to remove me. All right, I don't know how that came off. I realized while I was watching it was kind of soft and pixelated, and I know that sometimes if it's not a clean data transfer, that the fiddle will sound kind of warbly and flanged, and so maybe that wasn't such a great idea. If you want to see it, go to my Facebook page. Right on the cover is a cleaner version of that. But anyway, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah. I think Hanukkah's over, but Happy Kwanzaa. Happy belated Hanukkah, happy solstice, and whatever it is that you celebrate, peace on earth and goodwill to all. And I will probably come back probably on Tuesday. We'll do a live. We'll do a special live, and we'll launch the pre-order for the new book. All right. Merry Christmas, everybody. I love you and stay safe.